Hi, welcome back to another video in this learning C++ journey. So in this lesson 10, we started the concept of inheritance. In the previous two videos, what we learned, in the first video, we discussed the basic syntax of the inheritance and what does it mean. And also we discussed the access specifiers and its working in inheritance. After that, what we discussed an example, the quad side example with the help of rectangle and square, and we got the idea how we can write the code for implementing the concept of inheritance. And also we got some basic idea of how we can modify inheritance function. Now, in those two videos, I didn't use any kind of constructors in my examples because I wanted to cover a separate video in the constructors in inheritance. Now, in this video, you will learn the idea, the concept of constructors whenever you are dealing with the inheritance. Now, let's design a function, a class. The class name would be parent class. Okay, we have got a parent class with a capital P, and after that we will get another some members in it. I will keep all of these members as protected because I want to inherit them in my derived class as well. But if you don't want them, you can just keep them in private section as well. Now within this protected, I'll just keep simple integer a, and then after that integer b, after that not c, just integer ab. Now how does the constructor work? We already know that we keep them in public section because whenever an object is declared, the constructor is called. So you have to make sure that it is in public section because it must be accessed outside the class. Now the syntax for constructor is that you will write the name of the class. For empty constructors, you will write empty arguments, no parameters passed, and you will write some initial value. So I'll write 0 for the A and B also 0. So if I declared an object of the type parent class, then what will happen that each value will be declared with the value 0. Okay. I'll have curly bracket over here. Now what I'm going to write is the parent constructor with an argument pass, so integer a and integer b. After that, what I'm going to do, I'll write a is equals to a and b is equals to b. Okay, and we will just end this constructor over here. Now what's going to happen that whenever a user declare an object of type class parent with some arguments, the argument will be passed and it will be initialized to its respective member variables. So this is the old concept. You guys have got the really good idea of this. Now what if I am using a derived class? For example, I have derived class by name of derived. Okay, I have got the derived class by the name of derived. Within derived class, I have some additional member variable. Let's say I've got protected member variable. Now, within this protected, let's say I have an extra member variable, let's say is c, integer c. Now, what I have in my derived class, I've got integer a, integer b, as well as integer c. Now, how I am going to call these constructors in my derived class? The syntax for it is as follows. I'll write the public keyword as it is. Now, what you want? For example, you want your constructor to be such that you want to initialize it with some values whenever an empty object is created. For example, if I create an object like I will say integer, but I'll say the name of the class derived empty constructor single colon, and I will say the c has a value of 0. Now I will have the print function in both the base class as well as in derived class. So I'll have void print function just to give you the idea of the how the constructors will work. Okay, within our base class, what I'm going to have, I'll have a is equals to some value which is equals to a and then okay, and I'll just copy this line of code, copy, and we will paste it over here, and I'll change this to b and also this to b as well. Okay, now let's go and print the values of these a b. Okay, so first of all, let's say we create parent class and p1, and we will call p1 dot print. Okay, so it should print 0 0. What is happening? Sorry, there is curl brackets missing, and remove this, and now let's run this code. So as expected, there is a value of 0 0. So let's say I give it some another value. Let's say I give it the value of 1 and 1 as well. So let's call it. So it will get initialized by 1 1. So this is how it works. So this is the normal routine, how the constructors work. Now what if I print the same values over in this case in my derived class? Now I don't have a print class over here, but it is in public section, so due to inheritance it is already been inherited in it, but there is no inheritance done. So let me just do it quickly. So public, and I'll write parent. Okay, and that's it. Okay, let's create a class derived d1, and I'll write d1 dot print. In print function, I don't have any c value, so let's print the values. So as expected, the values are printed. Just remove this as comment, and we will print. As expected, the values are a is equals to 1 and b is equals to 1. Now, as you saw that I haven't declared those constructor values, but still I was able to get those 1 in my output in my derived class. So it shows the concept of the derived class over here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write some parameterized constructor within my derived class. But first of all, let's see the behavior of parameterized constructor. So this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass some customized value. I'll say 1 and 2, and let's print the values. So as you guys can see that a has been initialized by the value 1 and b has been initialized by the value 2. Now let's call at the same time our empty constructor with our derived class. Let's call it. So as you guys can see, whenever we call an empty constructor, it will call automatically that empty constructor by itself and get initialized by 1 1 in the case of when you are not explicitly doing anything. But let's have a look. What if we want a parameterized constructor with our own values? So I'll say integer a, integer b, integer c, and then after that I will write a parent, because parent parameterized constructor is already created, and the first value in parent is a and the second value is b, and after that an additional value is c, so I'll write c. Now what's going to happen? I'll just write different values in d1. So I'll write 3, 4 and 5. Now let's print the values. So as you guys can see that we have got some different values, and here I should print the C value as well in my this class. Now as you guys remember, I'll let you do this thing. Just think about it. What should I do in my public section in the what is called this oh sorry, 3 and 4 is over here, and we will write. What should I do over here with this print class? I'll write just a normal void print, because we have print in both class, but I want to override its functionality. Okay, I want to customize the functionality of the print function. I will have the same print over here. So with the help of this syntax, parent, the class name, and double colon. Okay, and after that we will write the print function. So until now we will have the same functionality as this. Okay, after that we will add another statement. So we will add copy, and we will add it over here as a C value. Now we will print the C value. Now let's print out our result. Okay, 3, 4, 5, because it should be 3 parameters. So 1, 2 is for the parent class, and 3, 4, 5 is for the derived class. So in this video, what you learned? You learned that you can have the constructors in your parent class. The empty constructor is normal routine, as in normal cases as usual. You can have a parameterized constructor as well in your parent class. What if you have a derived class from that same parent class? What you are going to do? Sorry, this can be protected as well. Okay. Now what you are going to do in your derived class, that to have the same kind of constructor. So whenever you have an empty constructor and you want to print the data of A and B, what you will end up is that calling this empty constructor, and it will initialize the values of A and B by 1, just because of calling an empty constructor. Now if you want customized values like parameterized constructor, you can have for both. You can have for the parent class as well as for the derived class as well. In the derived class, what you want to make sure that to have to explicitly call this constructor with parameters, to let the compiler know that the first value that you are passing in the constructor will go in this, and the second value will be passed as B, and the third value will be passed as C, and the compiler will assign these value in this sequence. Okay, so A will be assigned to member this, and B will be assigned to member B, and C will be assigned to this, the derived class, its own element. Now within parent function, print function, what we are doing, we are calling the print function of our parent class, and then after that we are adding another line of code in the print function. Now whenever you call the print function with the object declared as a parent class, it will call this print function, the parent print function, and whenever you call the this object created with the derived class, and you call the print function, it will be called in the derived class. So this was a little concept about how the constructor overloading works, and what is the syntax for the constructor overloading, and it can be very useful concept for you guys in the future practice problems or projects. So I hope you guys have learned the concept of constructor overloading by now. So I'll meet you guys in the next video.